So today we are going to be comparing data science and machine learning. These are two confusing topics for many people because sometimes they look related. Sometimes some people think that data science is a subset of machine learning, and some other persons say that machine learning is a subset of data science. So what is really the fact? What is really the difference between the two and the similarities between the two? This is what I'm going to cover in this very short lesson. So let's start with looking at the questions. What is machine learning? What is data science? What are the similarities? What are the differences? What are the prerequisite knowledge of each of them? Which one to choose as a beginner? Which one to choose as an intermediate? And where do you get good resources? So we are going to be answering these 8 questions I've prepared. So let's start off from the first one. And as we answer them, you'll find out that you get it very clear the difference and similarities between the two. The first one is, what is machine learning? Now, it's defined as the study of algorithms and statistical models that computer systems use to effectively perform specific tasks without using explicit instructions, relying on patterns and inference instead. It is seen as a subset of artificial intelligence. So one thing I want you to extract from this definition is, first, machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence, not a subset or a branch of data science. Another thing I want you to learn from this definition is it has to do with developing models for computers to use to perform tasks without explicit instruction. Now, when computers work today, it works using input process output model. That is what we know. We have the input data coming in, we have the processor, and we have an output. Now, in case of machine learning is creating a model that tends to use a different approach. You have input output process. So you feed in the input, you feed in the output, and the computer kind of generates or learns to build the model to handle the input and the output. So think of it this way. You have a self-driving car, and this self-driving car is programmed to recognize pedestrian, let's say pedestrian walking on the sidewalks. And now when at some point the self-driving car sees something like a group of monkeys walking in the sidewalks, or elephants crossing the sidewalks, maybe it has not been programmed to recognize animals. But with machine learning, it could be able to modify its program to rewrite its own processor or its own process algorithms and be able to handle new sets of inputs. So think of it that way. It uses input output process model to work. And that is something a bit scary, because if you're able to hand the control over to the machine, and the machine is able to write its own program, it's kind of taking control away from humans and putting it to the machine, and it's a bit scary because at some point the machine could recognize humans as enemies and tend to fight back. But this is something I'll discuss in a different lesson. Now, data science is a multidisciplinary field that uses scientific processes, models, and algorithms and methods to extract knowledge from unstructured and structured data. So one thing you want to know about machine learning is it simply has to do with analyzing data. You must have data set. This time is not just little data set, big data, or even structured data that we have in tables. You want to analyze it and extract information from this data. So you can see clearly that machine learning is much more wider in scope than data science. Granted, data science is multidisciplinary, meaning that it applies to different places, different industries you can think of, economics, finance, some areas of engineering. So data science applies because you always have to analyze data. Now the next one is, what are the differences between the two, or what are the similarities first? Many similarities exist between the two, which actually leads to so much confusion. We have mathematics, statistics, probability, classification, regression, data analytics, and so on. This applies across to both machine learning and data science. But now I want you to pay attention to the differences between machine learning and data science, which I highlight here. And now in machine learning, we have mathematics, calculus, programming, neural network, genetic algorithm, mathematical optimization, and more. There are a whole lot of things involved in machine learning. the list is endless. More or less like everything inside data science comes into machine learning as areas in machine learning that is applied in machine learning. So for data science, we have statistics, we have hypothesis testing, we have that it is multidisciplinary. Simply means that it can apply to different fields of study. Business analytics, business intelligence, all of them have to do with almost the same thing. Basically, we are talking about, you may have heard of ERPs, let's say SAP. You use SAP to analyze data, get some insight from the data. Of course, it can be used for enterprise application integration to integrate a whole lot of data sources and application, but mainly we use it to generate insight or some information, inference or predictions from data sets, large data sets. And the problem I have with some of these things is, if you are using some application to work, this application actually shields you from learning the actual theoretical models or the actual knowledge behind the operations you do. So if you are sitting in front of the keyboard and the mouse, or you're typing and using the mouse, you're looking at the screen, most likely you are not a data scientist if this is what you do every day, because you actually might be a data technician, you might be some kind of analyst, but you are not a data scientist. Data scientists actually sit down to study, research, and creating new models and research on existing models on how to perform analytics on data, right? So now machine learning has to do with applying data science theories. In my machine learning 101 class, I identified 3 different theories of machine learning, which kind of also applies in data science. You have probability theory, information theory, and these 2 theories now applies in making decisions. You apply these 2 and you have to make a decision on what to do. Data science kind of stops in the first two. It applies probability theory and information theory, but it actually doesn't make any decision. But when we are talking about machine learning, we now have decisions have to be made. So if a self-driving car is driving and it gathers all this data in front of it using the aerial camera, it gathers so much data, people, cars, trees, it analyzes it and takes decision on the fly whether to swipe to the right or to swipe to the left, increase the speed or not to increase the speed. So these decisions has to be made, and this is where decision theory comes in. So we have application of this data science theory is made in machine learning. All right, so let's proceed. What are the prerequisite knowledge? Now, I've seen some persons saying they are data scientists, they can help you learn data science, the machine learning in maybe 1 month or 2 weeks, you have become a machine learning expert and things like that. This is totally crap. You can't learn these things in 2 weeks. It's not possible, because this encompasses so many areas of knowledge. Think of the mathematics involved, think of the ability to develop models, think of the theories you need to learn. You can't learn these things in 1 day. If somebody is telling you he's going to teach you how to use the applications, how to use SAP, how to use write a few codes in Python, that may make sense. But to become a data scientist actually does not take a later time like 2 weeks or 1 month. So basic maths and statistics for data science, you need to learn about that. For me, if I'm going to teach you, or if I'm going to take you in a course on data science or machine learning, then I likely will evaluate your previous knowledge and know where actually I'm going to start. Then we have where to choose, which one to choose as a beginner or as an intermediate learner. For a beginner, it also depends on your objective. In fact, for both of them, if your objective is to be able to apply data science in your workplace, maybe you work as a controller, as an economist, as a researcher, and you want to apply data science to actually do consultancy, make predictions, draw inferences or draw conclusions from data sets you've gathered, then go for data science so that you'll be able to quickly be up to speed with the knowledge and quickly start applying them. If you are gearing towards being a researcher to develop new knowledge to actually go further in research, then or maybe go for further studies, then I say you go for machine learning, because as you move along in machine learning, you also will cover data science. Now, the last question will be where to get good learning resources. Well, Machine Learning 101 is there for you. In my website, kindsonthetech.com, you see Machine Learning 101. That is for you if you want to go for machine learning. Also, in my website, kindsonthetech.com, you'll see data science nuggets as well. In fact, last month I started Machine Learning 101 course. So for now, I think it's up to 4 weeks now. So you can actually take that course. It's free videos and other materials taken right from the scratch. So these are the difference between machine learning and data science. Just to summarize, data science has to do with actually studying the theories, and then machine learning has to do with applying these theories in making decisions. Now there are three theories: decision theory, probability theory, and information theory. Data science kind of stops in the two, probability theory and information theory, while machine learning goes further to handle the three: decision theory, information theory, and probability theory. I'm actually going to stop here, and I'd like to thank you for viewing. Remember, subscribe to my channel, share this video around, and also let me know in the comment box below if this has been informative for you. And remember, Machine Learning 101 is for you if you are trying to learn machine learning, and also make my website, kindsonthetech.com, bookmark it on your system because you can always learn something new from there. Thanks a lot.